How far is too far when it comes to giving the other side a voice? And how often can you get away with saying you're just trying to get people to the middle ground when you allow fascism on your platform? I avoid Jubilee videos to preserve my own sanity, but I understand they have a very viral hold on our culture, and they tend to propel political discourse and thought in a way that many other forms of media simply can't, because they have such a large audience and reach across multiple social media platforms that they even end up on mainstream news when a video of theirs goes viral. Their most recent video, in which Mehdi Hasan, a former CNN anchor, debates 20 far-right Republicans, has taken the internet by storm. And this video showcases the very worst of humanity and the very worst in political thought and ideology, and it is portrayed in the title as one progressive versus 20 far-right conservatives. But these aren't even far-right conservatives, these are more than far-right. Some of these people are straight up fascist and call themselves aligned with Nazism. I think this video is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the harm that Jubilee Media has perpetuated on its platforms, and I'm going to get into that today. My name is Liz, welcome to my YouTube channel where I chat about whatever's on my mind, and where every single video I've seen of Jubilee has been against my will. Jubilee Media likes to frame itself as the Disney of empathy, which, what is that word? What do those three words, the Disney of empathy, 4 words, 3 words, Disney of empathy, even mean? I think to get a perspective of what Jubilee Media means by that, we need to dive into the origins of Jubilee Media. Jubilee Media started out as Jubilee Project in 2010 when Jason Lee, who went on to found the company, was really moved by the images of the Haiti earthquake and decided he wanted to fundraise to raise money for the victims of the Haiti earthquake. So he went out into the streets of New York and started busking, and he only raised a few dollars from that, I think like $75, but he took that video of him busking on the streets of New York and uploaded it to YouTube, where he raised over $700 to donate to the victims of the Haitian earthquake. From this, he sparked the idea that he could then create a nonprofit media company that would give the profits back to those in need. Now, the nonprofit only lasted a few years because after the 2016 election, he moved to LA, and Jason Lee decided that he could actually make a full profit media company capitalizing on the division that existed in the United States after the 2016 election. So whereas other people looked around and thought, this is horrible, he thought, I can make money. I don't know if he actually thought that, but that's what it appears he thought. And since 2017, Jubilee Media has launched several viral video series on their YouTube channel, and their most popular series includes Middle Ground, where two opposing sides have a debate and attempt to find common ground between their two oppositional sides. Odd One Out, where they have a lineup of people and there is a secret mole in the group that has to be spotted by others through questioning. And Surrounded, where a prominent figure is surrounded by and debates several opponents. They've launched many other styles of series, including dating shows, but I would say these 3 series have generated probably the most clicks and views. I haven't done the data myself, but I think Middle Ground and Surrounded are the shows that I see most often on the internet. And Jubilee knows the formula for their content going viral. By providing a platform for the most fringe beliefs and framing them as worthy of civic debate, people click, they get views because people want to hear these crazy ideas and often want to see someone knock down someone they disagree with. And these debates range from everything like trans person debates Charlie Kirk, who doesn't believe trans people exist. So it's a room full of transgender people and allies debating someone who's terribly bigoted towards them, and that is framed as a healthy debate. I don't agree that that is a healthy form of debate. Other debates include flat earthers versus round earthers, and being a flat earther is contradictory to science, like settled science, the earth is round, but this is debated as something worthy of discussion. We have other debates like debating basic human rights for women versus misogynist, and truly no topic is off limits for the Jubilee team. In an interview with The Atlantic, Jubilee's former creative director, John Rigaldo, admitted the team has actually discussed internally whether they should have Holocaust deniers on their show for an open debate on whether or not the Holocaust happened. Rigaldo noted that angry viewers often leave comments joking that Jubilee might do Holocaust survivors versus Holocaust deniers next. But in the company's logic, that's really not an outrageous idea. Internally, Jubilee has argued about whether or not we should do that episode, Rigaldo adding that he himself would, quote, want to see that dialogue happen, end quote. as long as the Holocaust survivors understood what they were getting into. I don't think it's good for society to deny an opportunity for discourse. I would like to hear Rigaldo say why he wants that debate to happen. Why would you tell people who have survived a genocide that they need to get online and debate with people that don't believe that genocide happened? Like, what is the point? He said he would like to see it happen. Why? But the interviewer doesn't ask why. And the only reason I can see why, other than him being a horrible person, is because he knows it would generate a lot of views and money for the company. And not only does Jubilee create a lot of money, it has a ton of influence. The Atlantic reports that Jubilee's 2024 video with Ben Shapiro, where he debates, I think, 20 people who aren't going to vote for Donald Trump, is the 5th most watched election video content on YouTube in 2024. It is literally ranked up there with like Joe Rogan's interview with Donald Trump. And Justin Lee has been asked many times about why he platforms people who are so beyond the pale of acceptable discourse. And one of my favorite interviews he's done was with Taylor Lorenz. I have my own issues with Taylor Lorenz, but I thought this interview was very good. Justin Lee responded that it was scarier when asked why he was promoting people that believe in these things, these abominable ideas. Justin Lee responded that it was scarier that we can't coexist in the same room than not platform these people.
It's a question that we've been asked about. Is it dangerous to platform or have certain voices or points of view on? And the way I would respond to that is I feel like we live in a more dangerous world, and if two individuals are not able to sit in the same room together and have a conversation, it doesn't necessarily mean that conversation is going to be productive or that anyone is going to necessarily change their point of view. But I think that that is sorely missing. And it's kind of like a ludicrous idea if you think about the opposite, which is just because you and I both have, let's say, a red shirt on or a blue shirt on, that we will agree on 1,000 of the same issues, or if we have opposite colored shirts on, that we would disagree on 1,000 different issues. And I think it's like a more scary thought that we can't coexist in the same room.
My response to his statement of this is Jubilee is regularly platforming people who do not want to coexist with other Americans. They don't want to coexist with people with other views or allow people to exist as themselves. Charlie Kirk does not want to coexist with people who are trans or in same-sex relationships or with people who want birth control or reproductive freedom. He wants to impose his beliefs on those people. So I am being asked as a viewer, and the other people who disagree with Charlie Kirk are being asked to coexist with him while he is never going to want to coexist with us. When a person states that America should be a Catholic fascist theocracy, as one person did state on the most recent episode with Hassan, they are simply not interested in coexisting. And yet Jubilee is stating that creating these videos is asking us to coexist with these people. We are being asked to coexist with people who do not want us to exist. These people are on Jubilee not because they want us to find middle ground with them, but to showcase their beliefs because they one day hope to have enough power to drive all other beliefs from the public square. In the most recent viral video, Mehdi Hassan is blindsided as the guests he is debating are clearly openly fascist, and they state they are fascist in the show.
Are you a fan of the Nazis? I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at all.
Hassan spoke on X about this because people asked him, why did you choose to go on this Jubilee video and engage in discourse with people who think that you do not have the right to exist in the United States? And Hassan states that he was misled, that he was not told about the abhorrent views of the people that invited him on, that the producers misled him about the guests that they were having on the show, and he was told while they were right-wing Republicans, it was not mentioned that they were outright fascist. In the days since the episode aired, one of those participants, the one who might have gone the most viral in the show, stated that he lost his job because he stated, "I am a fascist." He stated it pretty proudly too, no regrets. He then launched a fundraiser where, as of the last time I checked, he had raised $30,000 in one day, just in one day, from people donating because he said he lost his job. I do want to say that I personally don't believe he lost his job. I can't fact check whether or not he even was employed when he went on the show. I don't know where he worked because it has not been stated. And his former employer did not come out with a statement saying, hey, we know this guy worked for us and we've let him go. So until I see a statement from his former employer, I am highly skeptical that he was employed in the first place. And I think he's grifting. Like, I genuinely believe he's unemployed. He went on the show and wanted to say something super ridiculous so he could state that he was fired and then raise a bunch of money off of the most gullible people online. Because the right-wing to canceled industrial complex is always going strong. It's super lucrative. And for someone like him who has like a podcast and an X page where he's trying to get viewers anyway, like where would he have been working in the first place? Wouldn't his job have already known? Like, he had already publicly stated his views on his, like, I didn't go, does he have a YouTube page? I'm sure he has somewhere where he has stated these views. So I actually don't believe that he was fired. I think he's completely making that up to make a quick buck off of people. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. If I'm wrong, would be happy to be wrong. But until his employer comes out with, his former employer, supposed employer comes out with a statement, I think he's lying. I think he's just trying to make money off of people. I genuinely would put nothing past the kind of people that Jubilee platforms, these people who are far right and fascist. And Jubilee not only platformed them, Jubilee gave them an audience to raise thousands of dollars due to their bigotry. Fired or not, millions of people now are aware that this bigotry exists and can be platformed online, and it can go viral, and they can then rally and support him. And I know this sounds crazy, but people like him have always existed in the United States, but they tended to be relegated to like Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, or Waco, Texas. And they tended to be isolated from society for a reason. And you didn't get the opportunity to be in the mainstream media presented as simply the other side. But now they can go on Jubilee and recruit a fan club of losers just like them. And Jubilee, even though they claim they're fostering debate, that's not what they're doing. They're not becoming the, quote, Disney of empathy that they claim to want to be. The far right isn't becoming more empathetic towards immigrants or anyone they disagree with by going on their show and debating. No, their beliefs are simply platformed and aired as worthy or as true as the other side. And instead of empathy, this choice to platform creates a cycle of anger and harm. Campbell Johns wrote on this cycle for the Michigan Daily in December of 2024. He said, as Jubilee's content promotes further and further right-wing ideologies, you have to wonder what they're getting out of it. The answer, as far as I can tell, has to be financial incentive. These videos, as evidenced by the comment sections, lead to massive, sprawling threads of heated discussion, all of which increase engagement and keep users watching and rewatching sections of the video. These debates understandably rack up major views. It is extremely tempting, no matter where you fall politically, to watch your opponents engage in debate. Watching a point you agree with render an opponent speechless is an addicting feeling. However, these debates often find the participants full on fighting rather than debating, an unhealthy and toxic environment for any sort of discussion. This feeling of vengeance pulls an anger out of the viewer that keeps them on the platform, watching the rest of the video or finding themselves sucked into the comment section in the hopes of defending their beliefs. And Jubilee is nowhere near done. They are only going to keep moving forward and trying to get more and more viral views and clicks. In their last debate with Mehdi Hasan, they scored over 5 million views in just a few days. The virality only generates more dollars, leading the producers to push for more topics that will generate more virality, more controversy, more anger. And Justin Lee has a lofty goal. He told The Atlantic his vision for Jubilee is that they would host a presidential candidate debate on Jubilee's YouTube page in 2028. Since Jubilee doesn't appear to be going anywhere, are there any steps that they could take as producers to improve the format of their show? I want to barf as I'm asking this because I would rather them not do their shows at all. But if they have to, are there any steps they could take to improve? I think there's a few steps they could take. One, they could actually have moderators. The current moderators just kind of start it and leave it up to the participants to argue it out. And that genuinely results in nothing resembling a debate. It results in people insulting each other, shouting over each other, and leaving very little room for actual debate or discussion. And I think the moderators could take a more active role and bring a more actual debate presence to the videos they produce to make them equal airtime for both sides and prevent it turning into just an enormous argument or shouting match. They could also have actual experts. Jubilee says they provide fact checking through a third party. They fact checked statements in the video and they provide like a written fact check on the video. But how effective are fact checks in post-edit? I'm going to say not very effective at all. I think if you're going to host a debate on science, for example, you need to have someone in the room who provides a button, say, hey, just ding this and fact check the debate. Or if you're going to have a debate on religion, have an actual person who's studied that religion and understands it in the room who can say whether statements are false or not. And then simply, you need to have guest screening. If you're going to say you're going to have Republicans on, don't bring on Nazis. Like, actually screen your guests. And the producers are taking advantage of people like Mehdi Hasan, who agreed to go on the show under false pretenses. Right now, Jubilee is looking for the guest that will generate the most virality, not the most thoughtful discussion. And I think that is like, unfortunately not going to change. But if I was producing the show, I would change how they bring the guests that they bring on. And then if you're going to claim want people to find the middle ground, you need to actually platform the middle ground. I think they did a good job with that when they had the Pete Buttigieg episode on, and they need to bring in more guests like that. And Pete Buttigieg is like incredible. He is very middle of the ground Democrat, and you should have middle of the ground Democrats, middle of the ground Republicans actually show where people can, on oppositional sides of the aisle, can find agreement. Will that generate the most views or money? No. So will they do it? I doubt it. As you can see, I have very little hope that Jubilee will reform itself in any way. And unfortunately, because of their success, there are thousands of other channels that are creating the same clickbait nonsense content as Jubilee. And that's their goal. They just want to create content that will get views and money. And I think as long as they're doing that, we are perfectly right to call them out. Because if you're platforming a fascist, you are complicit in fascism. You can't frame it as Disney World empathy. It's simply complicity. Choosing to not watch it, choosing to not engage with it is the best step most of us can do to prevent supporting their complicity with fascism in any way, shape, or form. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. It's been on my mind. I keep seeing like various Jubilee clips go viral, but the 20 far-right crazy guys against Mehdi Hasan like pushed me over the edge. I did last year film a reaction to a Jubilee homeschooling video, but then I never edited the video and I think I deleted the footage. And I personally would like to never actually film a reaction to a Jubilee video unless it is specifically in something I consider like an expert field on, like homeschooling. But most Jubilee videos, I think, are just the very bottom of the gutter kind of political discourse that is doing nothing productive for this country or the world at large. And I hope, fingers crossed, that my channel and the stuff I produce is not in that same vein. Anyway, thanks all for watching. I hope to see you next time here on the internet. Be sure to become a member of this channel to get early access and exclusive videos. And I will see y'all all around the internet. Till next time, see ya.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.